My name's Brittany Lynch. I'm 23 and I'm an information marketer. So really what do? I sell information. I used to work at Google in their AdWords department. So I've got a number of information products on teaching people how to use Google AdWords, how to use Facebook advertising, how to do media buys online, how to buy really low cost traffic, send it to your website, and get a return on your investment.
Yes, the little alpaca at the bottom left of the screen, and that's the little subtle call to action.
Yeah, because we were thinking, like, how can we get them to, without being overtly obvious, but upgrading to...
I remember when I was 15, 16, every month we would get these packages in the mail. And I remember looking and I was thinking, what is this junk mail? So I went up to my dad and I said, Dad, what is all this junk mail that you keep getting from Dan Kennedy? And more importantly, why do you seem to be reading this junk mail every single month? And he just kind of stopped and he laughed a little bit and he looked at me and he said, one of the best things that you could do for your life and to improve your future is to read this junk mail every day. And obviously it turned out not to be junk mail. He's, the best direct marketer in the world. And so I started to read his material right then and there, when I was 15 or 16, and the rest is history. Now I have $1 million a year business. I'm 23, so some would say that I guess that's pretty good. So obviously in just 7 or 8 years, my life has changed quite a bit for the better because of reading that, what I call junk mail every single month. In third year university, I applied for a job at Google in their AdWords department, and not in a million years did I think I would get it. It was something that I always wanted to do, was work for Google, at least for a little bit. And I ended up getting the job. I went through like 8 interviews to get the job. And so I took time off university to do that. It was for a set contract. At the end of the contract, I had the opportunity to extend it. And at that point, I decided not to. I wanted to work for myself again. And right off of the get-go, I replaced my income that I was making from Google in 9 days. The way I did it was I started selling my services. So I knew how to build AdWords campaigns really, really well. And so I started selling these services. And while that was great and while I was making a lot of money and I had the flexibility to travel again, which is something I'm so passionate about, you're still selling your time. And Dan's all about, leveraging your time and selling your information. And so I thought, well, why not implement these Dan Kennedy strategies? Why am I selling my time? That's, it's great that I'm making so much money, but it's stupid at the end of the day. I could be making so much more money putting the information that I'm using right now for these services into books and selling those products instead. So I completely changed my business from a service business to an information marketing business. And I've more than 100 times my income since then. So that kind of stands alone for itself, the success that I've had with the Dan Kennedy products. I have so much free time, so I sat down and I created a bucket list. I mean, this year I've been to Australia already, I went to New Zealand, I've been to Costa Rica, I've been to Panama, I've been to Colombia, I went on a 5-day sail trip, I went skydiving, I took a helicopter ride through canyons, I've gone, whitewater rafting, I'm going to Thailand and I'm doing a 1-week Muay Thai boot camp tomorrow. I'm leaving tomorrow with my younger brother. And then I'm going to Komodo Island and scuba diving in Indonesia this month. So I get to do all these really, really cool things that most people just don't get to do, or at least certainly not in a 1-year time frame. And I'm really lucky to be able to have this flexible lifestyle. I can do anything I want, whenever I want. So I've got this book that I've had since I was 15 or 16, and it's a book of all of Dan Kennedy's No BS newsletters from 1999, 2000, and 2001. And it's timeless information. You'd think that information would be outdated, but I have that book. It's like 500 pages long, and there's just so many notes. It's all raggedy and it's falling apart, but it's like a Bible to me. I just go back to it and I pull concepts from it. And every time I go back and I revisit that book, I find something new that I can implement in my business and make a lot of money from. Dan has this concept, and it's always be selling, always be selling, always be selling. And that's something that I wish I could go back in time and just really tell myself you should really listen to. And for me, selling isn't a dirty word. As long as you're building quality products and you're really helping someone, always be selling. I think that you kind of owe it to yourself and you owe it to your customer. You always be selling the next thing because you believe so powerfully in how that product or that service can change that person's life for the better. There's no business that I could foreseeably imagine that his techniques and his information wouldn't work for. So Dan Kennedy, go check him out. He's got so many different materials and resources, and his concepts are just sound. The success stories that have come out from people who follow Dan Kennedy are absolutely amazing. So that speaks for itself.